Welcome to the 2022 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday, April 24th, 2022 edition. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I thank you for your support. And we're going to jump right into it today. I just want to talk briefly about the hyperinflation and the Federal Reserve's meetings to try to tame the beast here, so to speak. The proverbial beast that's growing. Inflation now stands above 8.5%. And once again, as I predicted a couple of weeks ago, the inflation will reach 10% before the end of May. And it is certainly on the path there. And whatever basis point hike that we could see be possible for May will not be enough to quell the forest fire that is rapidly raging called inflation. We're also going to be talking about briefly the commodity prices are rising significantly, what that means for us at the grocery store around the world, and how we need to continue to stock food and water as best we can in our spaces, whether in urban or rural spaces or somewhere in between. And also, we're going to be talking about the weekly jobless claims, which ironically fell, at least the media is spending as it did fell. The numbers have fell, but there's still a tight labor market, and there's some major concerns about that now. I hope everyone is having a great weekend and that they got out to enjoy family and friends, at least briefly, before getting back down to business later on this week as we try to close out this month of April. It's crazy. We're going into almost halfway done the year of May here soon. So let's get right into it, guys. Without much fanfare here. CNBC.com Thursday, Powell says that taming inflation is absolutely essential, quote, he uses words, and a 50 basis point hike possible for May. Now, what many don't understand is that there's going to be even a higher price baked into this economy. Some people are saying that they want a 75% or a 75 basis point or a full 1 point basis hike. I'm more in the latter camp. I think they should do a full 1 point basis hike because according to shadowstats.com, real inflation is pushing 20% right now, and this is across the board. I'm sure many of those outside of the country in Europe and the European Central Bank, inflation is running rampant over there. I'm pretty sure you guys, if anybody commenting below, and I'm sure in Australia and China and Japan, inflation is running high in some of these other countries too as well. But the United States is leading the way here. So it's absolutely essential, he says, that we restore price stability. We're not going to get price stability right now because we have a supply shortage. So that is out the window. As you know, that there's over 140 ships off the coast of Long Beach, California right now that can't come in and deliver the cheap Chinese goods that are ready to be consumed by all of us Americans. So that's not going to help the prices. A shortage of supply is keeping the prices artificially high. They will be continue to be high throughout the remainder of this year. So that's wishful thinking. So the question is, does the Fed raise the beyond the 50 basis point move that's going to be in the May meeting upcoming? Do they go 75 or full point, maybe even 2 basis points? Because it's clear that they're going to have to raise rates for the next couple of years. But you have to remember, in the 1970s, once again, Paul Volcker raised rates to the appropriate level. It got up to 18 to 20%, the interest rates. And so that's the question that many investors have. Will we be able to get those kind of numbers to help quell this inflation? Otherwise, it's going to be out of control for a lot of American families. And guys, this is going to hurt commodity prices. Commodity prices are going up. Corn, wheat, soybeans, you name it, it's going up. And the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, has warned of severe pressures, quote, in commodity markets in the Financial Stability Report. That's quote to MarketWatch.com. So, guys, what we have is we're going to have a situation where, can you imagine where, a lot of our farmers were dying anyway, okay? And according to what the Ukraine situation, as that's been called the quote breadbasket of Europe. I don't know how true that is, but they are a major exporter of wheat, barley, sugar beets, and other grains and sunflower oil. So can you imagine going through these places, going to your Walmart, going to your Winco, your Walmart, your Costco, your Sam's, Kroger's, Acme, Wise, wherever you shop at, going there and not seeing no produce but 2 things, maybe apples or oranges or dates or something crazy. That's very possible because you have to remember, guys, that we still haven't solved the supply chain shortage shocks, and that is yet to manifest itself. That will manifest itself in earnest in the this coming fall of 2022. We haven't felt the shock from that, and we also hadn't felt the shock from the not just what's happening in Ukraine. We also haven't felt the shock of these prices in terms of all this money printing. Remember, we had 3 stimulus checks. Plus the addition of some of the infrastructure bill that passed. Not all of it passed through yet. We've spent a lot of money on that, $4 trillion on that, $5 trillion. So that has yet to funnel its way through the system here. And then housing prices are also going to be in that too. It's going to be raising too. That's going to put a lot of strain on budgets. So it's important that we get food, that we continue to stock food, water, security, and also a lot of different things to help our mental health and spiritual health, like different translations of the Bible that may be valuable to people, different board games that may become obsolete that may help your mental state. Sudoku. Some people play Sudoku. Some people play Wordle. I never heard of it, but some people play these games to help keep the mental acuity up if they're not in school or anything else going on at the time, or retired, or what knows. But the thing is, the jobless market is changing. As you can see here, weakest jobless claims total 184,000, just above expectations in tight labor market. So in some places, the continuing claims are falling. That is good news. That is the good news in this changing economy. The bad news is that we still have a lot of people that's out of work. We still have 10 million people in America, the 15 million that's out of work, and not being able to replace that job with an equal income. They have to replace it with a lesser income. And you've seen this. All these stores around America, whether you go to fast food or whether you go to retail or travel, say now hiring, and you go in there to say $16 an hour, $20 an hour. Verizon is raising their minimum wage to $20 an hour. You go into grocery stores, they're saying they're paying $12 to $14, $15 an hour starting pay. But guys, we're not. Even though these signs are out there, they're only hiring one or two people and the rest are putting in application database. Okay, that's the sad part about it. And on top of that, inflation is at 8.5%. So if inflation is the official numbers we're using from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, how is it that you're going to be able to afford a rent that's $1,400 for a one bedroom, $1,800 for a one bedroom, in some cases over $2,000 in some of these cities for a one bedroom apartment, US dollars, and one bedroom, one bath. And so how are you going to be able to afford that in terms of that and a car payment and insurances, rent, gas, taxes? It's just not going to go very far. And we know that. So a lot of people end up resorting to living together, 3 and 4 people, multi-generational families, or people that living together as well. So we see here that the jobless claims are a bright spot, but however, unemployment has fallen to 3.6%, but there are fewer Americans working. So that's going to hurt the tax base here. Social Security income is going down. That's also going to be going down to they say Social Security is going to end in 2035. It may be much sooner than that because we have fewer Americans working and fewer Americans are having babies and kids to raise, are getting married and having babies and kids because of the economy situation. And it's taken a lot of millennials and later millennials, generation after millennials, later to get started in their careers because of all of the expectations and everything that's going on. And so, guys, that's why we have to continue to prepare, not only physically, mentally, and spiritually, but we have to prepare emotionally to see many Americans have to adjust to a lower standard of living, which this may be the last full year. The fiscal year ends on May 31st, okay? This may be the last full year of the good, quote-unquote, good times in America. As we enter into a period of hard times. Even President Joe Biden commented 2 months ago. He said Americans are going to feel the pain, not just at the pump, but in other areas of life. And we're starting to see that come to fruition now. So continue to prepare, ladies and gentlemen. Even just getting cans at the dollar store, Dollar General, whatever, Dollar Tree, canned food, getting plastics, things that you can use, matches, lighters, barterable items there can help. It's never too late. You may say, even people that have been prepping for 2 years or 3 years, some of you in my community have been prepping for years, 5 years, over 5 years. You can never have enough. And even if you do, you can still give away to others or, help show others the way too as well. Because nobody is fully prepared for what is coming because this is a worldwide global depressionary event. Whereas the Great Depression of 1929 was just, in the United States and it took us 10 to 15 years to get out of. This next one is going to take 10 to 15 years to get out of. And it's going to be worldwide. There's nowhere to run, My friends in Europe, my friends in Asia, China, Africa, you guys know, South America, everybody's going to be affected by this in one way or another. And so it's important that we continue to learn the skills, to grow, to make our lives as best as we can, and to do this while we're in the relative good times, calm times, And so after this pandemic ends, guys, there's going to be another Black Swan event coming. We don't know. Maybe this time it's going to be a food crisis. Maybe it's going to be rationing coming. So they may not call it rationing, but you can imagine how things are going to be going down south once everybody figures out the gravy pot, the money, that stocks and bonds, the 401ks, all of that has been raided and stolen. and that the supply shortages are here to stay. So thank you very much for listening. I look forward to hearing from you guys very soon, and have a blessed rest of the weekend. I'll talk to you again on the next video.